How's it going, guys? Berserker here. In today's video I'm going to be talking about Grandmaster Nightfalls. In this video I'm going to be going over what is a Grandmaster Nightfall, what's different in a Grandmaster Nightfall than a normal Nightfall, what sort of loot you can get from the GMs, is it worth doing, and also advice for players who are new to GMs and have never done it before, or just feel uneasy about doing it for the first time. Just wanted to quickly mention as well that this guide is aimed for all players, but there will be sections of this guide also which are definitely aimed at people who are new to Grandmaster Nightfalls, and also giving advice for people who are new, who maybe don't understand mechanics or don't understand what a Grandmaster Nightfall maybe is. So a Grandmaster Nightfall is currently the hardest free-man content that currently is in Destiny 2. A Grandmaster Nightfall is this season at 1370 power, the enemies. You have to be 1345 to actually enter the activity. It is very similar to a Master Nightfall as you have champions in the activity, but in a Grandmaster Nightfall you have more champions and you also have lives at the bottom right. If you run out of lives at the bottom right, you will not be able to revive any of your teammates. The only way to gain revives is by killing the champions, as you gain 1 revive per champion kill that you get. If your whole team wipes, then you are all returned to orbit. You do not start from the last checkpoint in a Grandmaster Nightfall. But when you do complete a Grandmaster Nightfall, there is a chance that you will get an adept weapon, and that adept weapon rotates each week. But this season there is 2 weapons in the loot pool of each GM each week, and there is 8 different weapons which will be on a 4-week rotation, so such as the Palindrome or the Shadow Price Adept. These guns are only obtainable, the adept versions, from doing a Grandmaster Nightfall. Now some people may ask, is doing a Grandmaster Nightfall worth it? I 100% think that a Grandmaster Nightfall is worth it. You can get some amazing weapons from doing Grandmaster Nightfalls, and you can also get some amazing mods. An amazing mod, for example, would be Adept Big Ones, which is very helpful when doing PvE. I would highly suggest that people try Grandmaster Nightfalls for the first time if they haven't already, and just give it a shot, honestly. High-end content on Destiny 2 can become very fun to do, and it's also very appealing for people who haven't really tried any of the challenging content on Destiny 2. If you're one of those people who've never done a Grandmaster Nightfall and you're feeling uneasy and you're not very confident about doing it for the first time, I would honestly just say to relax and just have a fun time doing it. There is honestly zero pressure to complete it on your first try. Even if it takes you 5 or 10 tries, or even maybe more, that's honestly not a problem. And as you play, you will learn and you'll improve, and eventually you'll get it done. I feel like it's normal to feel uneasy about doing high-end content for the first time. I understand the feeling completely, but I think the more you play it, the more you'll just feel relaxed in that situation, and you will improve as time goes on. So honestly, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, now it's time to get on to this season's champion mods. This season we have an anti-barrier auto rifle once again. We have the unstoppable pulse rifle, the overload bow, which is my personal favourite. I missed that last season actually very much. Unstoppable sidearm, and unstoppable fusion/linear fusion rifle, and also overload sword. Now, anti-barrier auto rifle is very good. I'm not too fond of the idea that there is only one anti-barrier this season, which is an odd one for me. I'm not too sure why that's a thing. Unstoppable pulse rifle is a very good one. That'll be very handy in this season's Grandmasters. There's also overload bow, which I just said a minute ago. It honestly is amazing. It's the best overload you can potentially get, in my opinion. Unstoppable sidearm, for me, is something I would never use. I think that's not a good one. I think if you're using an unstoppable, well, a sidearm in a Grandmaster Nightfall, you are taking some mad risk for sure. I honestly would say that. Unstoppable fusion rifle and linear fusion would be, I think, very good potentially. I'm curious to see how this one's going to work. And overload sword, yeah, please don't use overload sword, please. That's probably not a good idea. You're probably going to die. I'll be honest. It's probably not a smart decision. So yeah, please don't use the sword. That would be bad. That'd be very bad. But as we continue in this video, I'm going to go through some weapons I think are going to be very helpful for this season, in the Season of the Lost. And I'm going to go through some roles on some of the weapons as well, and give some options for people that potentially could be good. So let's go. Okay, some potential good weapons for the auto rifle barrier would be Annoying Hunger if you're trying to do a void shield, a 7 Seraph carbine if you want to be using a kinetic auto rifle. You have the Summoner, which is also solar. You have the Shadow Price, which is arc. You have Sorrow's Verse, which is actually a very good one. I'm going to show some roles about that one in a moment, which is also arc. You have the new weapon, which I'm not sure how you say this. It's like Kryshura Mellow. That is a new auto rifle, which is solar. You have the Last Breath, which is kinetic. You have the re-released Tiger Spite from the Dreaming City, which is kinetic. You also have the Forward Path, which is also kinetic and from Iron Banner. And then you have the Chroma Rush, which is from Season of the Splicer, which is actually very, very good. I'm also well aware that not every single auto rifle is in this list. I do understand that, but I only had so many spaces to fill, so these are the weapons I used. One of the weapons I do want to talk about though is Sorrow's Verse. Sorrow's Verse is honestly, to me, very, very, very impressive. It is an arc auto rifle, and I currently have the rolls on the screen right now. Some of the best possible perks that this weapon can roll with is Frenzy, One for All, Demolitionist, Harmony, Rampage. Rampage would be extremely good on this. You can also get Encore on the third column with Feeding Frenzy also on the Subsistence and Outlaw. These are the ideal roles that people might want to go for, but the role that I would personally go for would be Subsistence and Rampage. That is a very, very good role. This weapon is also currently in the World Loot Pool, so there is a chance that you'll get this at any point. It is very, very good, and if you can get a good roll for this thing, I would highly suggest you use it. It'll be very, very good for Nightfalls. Moving on to the pulse rifle section of the video, I'm not going to be talking too much in detail on the pulse rifles, as any pulse rifle really would work, but some of the ones I have listed down here would be Forger's Pledge, which is the new Iron Banner pulse rifle, which is solar. There is Last Petition, which is a void pulse rifle. You have Darkest Before, which is an arc pulse rifle. You have the Messenger, which is kinetic. You have a Grid Skipper, which is void. The Third Axiom, which is arc, and Stars in Shadow, which is a solar pulse rifle. These are some pulse rifles which could work very well in Grandmaster Nightfalls this season, so there is more than that you could choose from, but these are just the ones I've listed myself. Okay, so time to talk about which bows could be useful in Grandmaster Nightfalls this season. Tyranny of Heaven is a kinetic bow. Crude Redemption is a kinetic bow. Wolftone Draw is the new seasonal arc bow, which is actually very, very good, and it's very easy to farm for also. I would definitely recommend you get this bow, and I will explain a little bit more about this one in a moment. Arsenic Bite is an arc bow. Imperial Needle is a void bow. Point of the Stag is an arc bow, and Le Monarch is a void bow. All of these bows here are definitely going to be useful if you decide to use it this season, so that one comes down to personal preference. Okay, so in relation to the Wolftone Draw, one of the things that I just want to quickly mention about the rolls that I can possibly get is the fact that I can roll with Shoot to Loot, and I can also roll with Adagio. And that to me is very, very intriguing, and I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. But I think that both of them could be very, very good and very helpful in a Grandmaster. You can also easily farm this if you just go to the helm and use the Umbral Recaster and just recast for the bow. I can honestly see it being very, very good this season, so I really would suggest that you try get it. Okay, so I wanted to put linear fusion rifles and fusion rifles together for this next section. This season, linear fusion rifles and fusion rifles are by far the most dominant out of anything. It is definitely the meta this season, and I would definitely suggest that you use a linear fusion rifle or a fusion rifle, or both of them this season. They are just ridiculous. If you go look around on YouTube, you'll see many videos of people using linear fusion rifles and fusion rifles on any of the bosses in raids and also dungeons so far this season. They are ridiculous with the damage that they're doing on bosses, and I honestly would definitely say to check them out, and I will 100% be running 1k voices for the most part this season, unless I'm forced to use something else. I really just don't see the point in using anything else other than a linear fusion rifle and a fusion rifle. They're just insane. There is one thing though that I would say that I still think that could be worth using that isn't a fusion rifle or a linear fusion rifle, which would be Anarchy, and that's all. There is a few quick points I do want to make though. I think that blinding GLs may still be very helpful this season. Also, if you do not have Stasis Warlock with Bleak Watcher, the aspect, then you really need to get it. Last season, the Bleak Watcher aspect on Warlock was absolutely insane in raids and in GMs, so please make sure you have it. Also, always make sure to use your resistance mods, such as your Sniper, your Melee, and your Concussive Dampener. These are all very important when playing GMs. Also, Aeons are also very helpful for giving your teammates heavy ammo. These are always things I would suggest. Warmind cells are also still very good to use. Protective Light is also very good to have on your armor. Reactive Pulse is also a very good mod to have on your armor. And these are just a few things I would definitely just suggest. If you need any more information on any of these points, please let me know and I can make a separate video with more details on a detailed guide on these sort of things. And that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do hope it's helped some people Please let me know in the comments below if it's made any difference whatsoever. Would appreciate if you guys can drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or maybe drop by my Twitch sometime at twitch.tv/Perserity. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy. See you on the next one.